I'm going to be very honest with you. There are as many e-commerce businesses in this world as there are stars in the sky. And you may be ahead of a few other e-commerce businesses, but there's so many others who are lapping you as we speak right now and are dominating you in your own industry. Now, let me let you in on something. Focusing on the wins that you've had in the past is not going to get you anywhere. It doesn't help anyone. Understand that you only get ahead of others if you chase what's forward and you don't keep looking back at the wins that you've had. So today, it's time for you to learn the truth behind why other e-commerce businesses are better than you. You are losing to e-commerce businesses that have better systems than you, better ways of finding winning formulas than you, and purely because they've decided to put their business at a close number one. Now that's something that you may have not considered, and that's the pure reason why they're always ahead of you. And they will just continue to lap you unless you take the decision to catch up. Now I always say to you that there's so many moving parts to a business, but it's easier for you to find what's making a business not fail so you can clearly see the part that took them to their success. What makes you fall behind is your full marketing, your conversion rates, and your retention systems. What's making them great is their full marketing, their conversion rates, and their retention systems. Do you see the trend here? They're doing the exact same things that you are doing, but they're not doing them at the bare minimum. Because to be fairly decent at this game, all you have to do is just bring traffic, convert the traffic, and keep them in the back end with retention systems. That's what everybody does. But what separates you from the others who are great is the systems that they use to do this and the approach that they have towards this task. Now, these three things I'm about to mention now are what determines the amount of money you bring in and the amount of money that you're losing because you're not showing them enough attention. Now, they are complex, so we're going to break them down for you. Let's go to round one, your marketing. Now, this is so broad. Many people are viewing it as how do we get as many people to view our business? But what you're supposed to be looking at it as is how do I give the customer what they want and what form am I supposed to deliver it to them? Automatically when you do this, you've made the bullseye bigger. You've made the plot clearer. You've now stripped down the broadness of the topic of marketing to a much simpler starting point for yourself. The best thing to do is to use your data, find what's working and fully hone in on it. Because it doesn't make sense for you to invest in your business in something that's not even going to get you results. Because at that point, it doesn't even fall under investments anymore. Check your data, find what's working, and only do things that lead to growth. Now, for e-commerce, your target audience wants to see exactly how your product is going to benefit them and be of relevance to their lives. So let's take a quick example so we can get the idea. There's no use in you explaining the sleek design of an ironer that's going to iron your clothes if it doesn't make it easier to maneuver. That's not what they want. You saying that the ironer is the best at what it does is not going to help because the standard has already been set. The ironer is supposed to iron the clothes at the best level already. What needs to happen is that your ironer must be easier to maneuver. Your ironer must heat up quicker than the expected time. And your ironer must have some sort of mechanism that's going to indicate to us that our clothes might burn. That's what we want to hear, because I would personally buy that ironer. I'm sure you also would, because it's going to help you even better. That's what we want to hear. That's what your target audience wants to hear. Those are the things that are actually going to help them. The next thing to tackle is the form in which we give this to them. Now, this is where the human touch is going to come in play and why it's so important. Because it's much easier for someone to buy something through reference from a person they know who's bought your product and was able to solve their own problem. It's just a human thing, guys. A person will be persuaded to do something if they've seen 20 others do the exact same thing safely, rather than no one doing that specific thing in the whole history of the world. Now, the marketing approach that satisfies this is user-generated content, otherwise known as UGC. You need videos and reviews that are going to resonate with your audience. Each piece of content must have a different approach and get you the result of a customer wanting to learn more about your product. And you can only do this if you have the correct systems in place inside your business. Now, let's circle back. Not going to the absolute roots of your business and understanding what marketing approach works for you is going to harm your numbers. Without making the right efforts, your business is not going to reach people. It's not even going to reach the right people. The people that actually need to see your stuff. You lose your market relevance and your campaign starts to become inefficient. Already you're losing to the guy who's making good content while you're busy running ads. Now imagine if your ads are not even converting and your CPM just increases. You're just widening the gap between yourself and your competition. So what do I want you to take away from this? More marketing, more opportunities. More advanced marketing, more advanced opportunities. The old way was to fully focus on how you could convert the customer. So I'm talking retargeting ads and emails. But I don't want you to hear what I'm not saying. These things are still working. They still have an effect on your business. They still bring you results. But you need to start realizing that if you get your marketing done from the top, if you get your marketing sorted out from the beginning, then the conversion process becomes much more defined. So let's break it down. If you start approaching your marketing like how I talked about earlier, where you start looking for what the customer actually wants, showing it to them and delivering it to them in the way that they want it, you kind of just remove 50% of the people who are not supposed to be in your funnel. And then you left with people who are actually interested inside your product. Now, if you do that step properly, the 50% that you have left is going to have a small amount of conviction in you. But this is actually what you want. The problem that you had before is that there were people who had no conviction in you. Large conviction or small conviction, it doesn't matter as long as there is conviction within the customer that, hey, this is the product that I want. This is what you were lacking before you started with these methods. Without conviction in customers, you get abandoned carts, you get traffic that does you no good. Conviction is like this catalyst for your conversion systems. Once you have a small amount of conviction, you're able to win these customers over and actually start getting results. So what you can take from here is that you follow the order of this video. Fix your marketing first, then the conversion systems become much easier. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how you're going to approach your retention systems. Now, love showering with discounts is not going to get you any better results than what you're getting right now. You need to remember that retaining a customer is much cheaper than acquiring a new one. So you actually have to pay attention to this one quite a bit. The approach to retention is kind of similar to your marketing. You actually need to figure out what does the customer want after they purchase from you. Now, believe me, it's not going to be the exact same as what they wanted before purchasing from you. Because once they purchase from you, they actually know how you are. They've already have an experience with your brand. So it's two completely different things. So you need to talk to them, founder to customer, marketer to customer. This information is so vital because something as small as a 2 to 3% increase in retention rates is a big increase on your own profit margins. If you don't have a proper channel to communicate with past customers, then retention is going to be a challenge. You need to find ways to communicate with these people on different platforms because using emails is something that everyone does. You need to start making smaller communities, more niched things that are going to get you better results because being in the norm is going to make you remain in the lapping industry. You need to step out of that circle because this is how I actually think of it. If you're running ads, you're competing with the whole market. If you're running good ads, you're competing with the top 10% of that market, right? If you're running good ads and you're running organic, then you're competing with 10% of the good in ads and everyone else in organic. But if you're running good ads and good organic, you compete with 10% on both ends. Now that actually separates you from the rest of the competition. So what you should take from this is that you need to have various ways in which you communicate with these customers. This is what actually gets you ahead. If your revenue depends entirely on new sales, then you won't have a predictable sales flow. You won't have what these other businesses are using to lap you. To close it all off, all the resources that you need to implement these specific systems in your business are in the link in the description. Now, if you're still struggling with doing this yourself, then you can contact the team and we can help you. And don't forget, build yourself a business that not only serves others, but serves you.